I, female 37, don't know what movie or book the niece, young grammar schooler, has watched or read, but when we arrived at sister-in-law's cottage on Christmas Eve, the little girl greeted us by saying she was the princess and that we only should address her as Your Highness. I thought it was obnoxiously ridiculous, but decided to keep out of it. It didn't stop there because during the whole stay, no two people could have a conversation without yelling and screaming from the little girl and her mother to turn any conversation or attention towards her. I have noticed this is common with parents, and I don't resent people for it. I've long realized that this is life when you're a parent. Nothing and nobody else matters but your children. You get all the love you need from them. Parents think the sun shines out of their children's backsides, and nobody is or will be as wonderful as their kids. We're programmed to be that way for our survival as a species. The little niece is also the first, and until a couple of months ago only, grandchild in the family. So everyone loves her very much, including my husband and I, but the stay was getting exhausting. We did not always remember the new arrangement, and the girl screamed like a banshee when someone forgot and didn't address her as Your Highness. So there was a lot of screaming and tantrums. Still, the worst was during Christmas dinner, when the girl demanded each to kiss her shoe before sitting around the table. Can someone explain if this is some kind of Western tradition with royalties and Christmas? Because I never heard of it. I laughed at first and then said, "What? This is ridiculous." But then I saw Granny and others kissing the girl's shoe before sitting. I refused, and the niece started screaming like a banshee again, saying no Christmas dinner for me. I laughed again because I thought it was a kid's wild imagination, and I thought it was cute at first, but not when they were serious about it. I mean, no. The queen was her mother, I guess, and she threw an even bigger tantrum than the daughter. Everyone was so angry with me, but I was horrified and angry in equal measure. So of course I wasn't allowed to dine. I called them ridiculous, took a dinner plate, and left for my room. I avoided the lot the rest of the stay. I just exchanged polite words and thanked and received thanks for the gifts, with a little tantrum when the niece yelled, "I hate you." Today we drove home 2 days earlier than planned. My husband said I ruined everyone's stay, but I don't think I did. If anybody, it was the people who raised the little girl. So, am I the idiot for ruining family Christmas by refusing to kiss my niece's shoe? Excuse me, what? Kissing her shoe to be allowed dinner? Imagining 8 adults bowing down to the ground to kiss a shoe to be allowed Christmas dinner is just wild to me. Wild. You are not the idiot. Let's say you handled this better than I could. She's young and, in her words, just a princess. Where's the queen to reel in her behavior? Oh, sister-in-law threw an even bigger tantrum. I mean, we all know where the kid gets it then. This niece is a tiny monster, and everyone is encouraging it. You do not need to go along with it. What the heck is wrong with your husband? Did he kiss the shoe too? He did kiss her shoes, since they weren't angry with him, but he didn't stay for dinner with them. We ate in our room and went for a long walk afterward. I'm not even mad or upset at the child. I was very taken aback that 8 adults would agree to this madness, however, but I have no idea who to blame. Your sister-in-law and the rest of your family are delusional, and so is your husband as well, for that matter, if they think that demanding that you get down on your knees and kiss their princess little brat's feet and beg for your dinner is acceptable play behavior. Your biggest problem here is your husband, because it's him you have to live with most of the time, and he apparently shared that sentiment that you ruined the stay. That's so dumb and messed up. I'm not saying divorce, but if my wife pulled some crap like this, I'd reconsider how right in the head she is. Yeah, you have a husband problem. However, OP, you should have told her you're the evil witch and had just turned her prince into a frog. She will need to find that frog immediately to kiss him back into a human within the next few hours, or she will never marry. Ever. Then just sit back and watch the whole house cater to that panic. A while back, I posted a picture of my cat sitting next to my counter as I was cooking to my IG stories on his own stool. He was watching. Again, He was next to my counter, not anywhere near the food. He doesn't go on counters. He doesn't go near the food. My friend Rose reposted it with her own caption, a puke face emoji, and "You can't eat at everybody's house." I ignored it and went about my business. She's very much the type of person who just regurgitates whatever popular phrases she sees on social media. Pineapple on pizza equals monsters. Raisins and cookies are why I have trust issues. I don't trust people who don't like dogs. Hot girl walks. Hot girl books. Delulu. I'm going to hold your hand while I tell you this. Is the ex in the room with us right now? Etc., etc. She has other traits that make up for it, but I tend to avoid one-on-one time with her, truthfully. About a month ago, I hosted a small get-together to show off some Le Creuset cookware that I obtained. Getting older is weird. I had a whole little shindig with home-prepared food and lots of fun times between pals. I didn't invite Rose. She found out after folks posted on their IG stories and confronted me over it, saying that I was giving high school mean girl vibes. I told her that she had made it clear she didn't eat at the homes of people with cats, so why would I have invited her to a dinner party? She got defensive and said that she could have just come and not eaten anything. I said that in the future, she should be more careful about what she says, because to me, it was very clear. Rose has continued to tell people that I'm giving high school mean girl to nurse pipeline. I'm an accountant and all that. Am I really the idiot for not inviting her? Why would she have wanted to come? Tell her, I'm going to hold your hand when I tell you this. You're not entitled to my time, cooking, or entry to my house, Rose. Okay? It's giving Delulu vibes. She should understand that. Sorry, Rose, but you're giving main character vibes. Let's just go low contact for a bit. Don't gaslight me. You messed around and found out. You're disrespecting my boundaries, and this is an abusive, toxic relationship. Trying to think of more terminally online verbiage that somewhat fits. Obviously, not the idiot, because your dinner guest list is your decision. But you're not even friends, and she obviously aggravates you. Are you so desperate for social media followers that you just won't block her? You should have done that when she reposted your cat photo with the insulting remark. Move on from her already. You both seem to be interacting like you're in high school. This is such a stupid take. Even if OP doesn't much like Rose, it sounds like Rose is in OP's group of friends. And yes, blocking someone just because they use terminally online language would cause drama. OP, not the idiot. Now, I think you have good reason to stop associating with Rose and blocking them if you want. If not, you're still not the idiot. You aren't obligated to invite somebody to your home. I strongly suggest you stop debating this with Rose. If your friends bring it up, just say, I didn't invite her, and she blew up. Don't get dragged into the mud here, especially when people who need to be blocked don't handle being blocked well. Rose can't even handle not being invited to a home that she complained about. Could you imagine a temper tantrum she would have over being blocked? OP, tell her your cat said she wasn't welcome in your house. I'm wondering if I'm justified or not. Everyone comes over for Christmas. I have 14 grandkids, all of my 5 kids, everyone's spouse and older relatives. The kids get 3 presents each. That's 42 gifts just for the kids. There are 17 adults, and I get them 2 gifts each, so 34 gifts in total. Then I get 9 gifts in total for the pets in the family. I'm not counting any gifts from my husband or me, or any gifts I got from all my relatives. If I did, it would be around 100 gifts under the tree. And as you can see, it's a ton of gifts, and I start shopping for everyone at the start of New Year's. Also, young kids are so easy. Anyway, I put everything under the tree, and it is a mess each year. My issue is that one of my daughters-in-law, the whole night, kept going on and on about not being able to get many presents for their 2 kids. At the adult table, she started ranting about how I made her look bad to her kids. Her husband tried to make her stop, and she told him someone must tell this witch. I had had enough at this point and told her that her being poor was not my problem, and to stop judging the number of presents. The dinner went on, and the kids had a wonderful time. My son wants me to apologize. Am I the idiot? I could have gone too far with my comment, which makes me one. Not the idiot. What does he want you to say? I'm sorry you chose to call me a witch while you sat at my table and ate my food. I'm sorry you tried to ruin Christmas with your behavior. I'm sorry you think we should give everyone less because you cannot give more. I'm sorry you think I'm responsible for your predicament. I'm sorry your husband, my son, asked me to apologize to you, as it meant we have to continue to discuss your utter lack of manners as a guest in this house. Continue buying gifts for your grandchildren, but tell your son you will respect his wife and cease buying gifts for him or her. The second she called you a witch, I would have gathered up their coats and packed up their presents. Instead of being grateful that her kids are getting presents, your daughter-in-law rants about you making her look bad, then insults you by calling you names in your home while eating dinner at your table? That's incredibly rude on her part. The genuine apology, I'm sorry I let her stay after her outburst, and not buying them gifts in the future will mean 4 fewer gifts under the tree, so she should be happy. Aw, you gave her an extra present, a badly needed reality check. That's truly a gift that keeps on giving. If anyone owes anyone an apology, it's her for making a scene at the dinner table. I'd reconsider issuing her any future invitations until she pulls her head out of her idiot. Regarding her inability to get presents for their kids, where's your son in this? He's the father. The gift should be coming from both. He's just as responsible as she is. I, 41 female, have a son who I'll call Jack, tween, with my husband, 42. Jack has a speech impediment that causes him to stutter. It's not too bad at home, but he really struggles to speak in front of other people due to some past bullying. He's okay when it's just his friends, but if he must speak in front of the whole class, he can take several minutes to finish a sentence, which he finds very upsetting. My husband and I have spoken to the school and arranged accommodations for Jack. All his teachers know not to call on him for reading or to answer questions, and he's allowed to raise his hand or have a friend respond for him when the teacher is taking register. He has a note from school that he can show his teachers if they question why he's not able to speak aloud. Recently, my son moved up to a higher level English class where he has a new teacher, whom I'll call Mrs. A. Last week, she tried to get my son to read aloud. He showed her the note, and she didn't make him. However, she emailed me saying that she didn't think my son needed the note. I explained that he did and told her the school had evidence from his speech therapist, thinking that was it. That was until Monday, when I had to come pick Jack up from school. The nurse said he felt sick, but when he got into the car, he confessed that that wasn't really the case. Basically, Mrs. A had asked him to read, and he then showed her the note again, but she said that she had seen him talking to his friends, and she knew he could speak fine when he wanted to, and told him not to be so shy. When my son refused, she promised to let the whole class out early if he read, and he shook his head. Some of his classmates were understanding, but as it was a new class, some of them didn't know him as well and were upset at him for the fact that they didn't get an early break, causing them to be rude to him. My husband and I were obviously very upset and sent an email to the school to report her, but I also made a post on the school's parent WhatsApp group calling her a cruel, power-tripping bully and explaining what happened. From what I can gather, a screenshot of my message got shared around, with many other parents siding with me. However, I received a message today from the school warning me not to use abusive language to describe teachers and telling me to please speak to the school directly instead of complaining online, as it could compromise teacher safety. Part of me feels justified in sharing, but I don't know if I went too far in calling her that and then sharing it to a group chat with basically all the year's parents, especially if it could really put her in danger. Am I the idiot? Edit. My son does have speech therapy and has improved over time. The accommodation isn't designed to be there his whole life, and we are working on speaking in front of a group. Hopefully he will feel confident enough after the summer holiday. But experiences like this, where he feels forced to speak, do set him back and make it harder. Look, I'm not going to vote one way or another. I think the teacher handled it inappropriately. But what was the point in posting in the social group? Not being snarky, but legitimately curious. If you thought the school would handle the issue you raised, what were you hoping to achieve with the post, other than just venting? Also, are the accommodations made by the school actually enough? It sounds like it may need to be something more concrete, like an IEP or a 504, though it may not qualify since the issue doesn't seem to be severe. It just seems like the note is something the teachers can't ignore if they choose to, more like a request than an actual accommodation they have to follow. From being in parent groups in our school district, I can say that the school is much more likely to do something about bullying when it's publicly held accountable. If it's all behind closed doors, they tend to rug sweep. I find it ironic that shaming the teacher in front of others, online, is unacceptable and compromises safety, but shaming a child in front of others is perfectly fine for some reason. Yep, I'll be blunt. Schools don't do crap unless an issue becomes public. I'm not saying OP was right to go public the way she did, but I understand why she did it. Odds are absolutely nothing would have changed with that teacher's behavior without the added pressure of collective parental outrage. And frankly, I'm more concerned about the child than the teacher. I, 20 female, am a nanny to 4 kids, an infant, a toddler, a preschooler, and a preteen. One of the job's requirements was having a car that could fit 4 car and booster seats. Mine didn't, but I applied anyway, and they liked me. So they got me in contact with a friend who was selling a 5-ish-year-old Ford Explorer for cheap. They bought the car, but it's in my name, and they're just taking some money out of my check each month for me to pay it back. It is my car, and I can do pretty much whatever I want in it, but I need 3 seats and a booster in there, Monday through Friday. I refuse to take the car seats out because I don't know how to install them, and I can't have the parents do it every time that I want to drive a couple of friends. I still have the Civic that I used before I got this job, so when I'm not working, I usually drive the Civic. My family was about to go to Christmas, and my mom told me to get the car seats out of the Explorer so we could all take one car. I said no, because the only one I know how to install and remove is the booster seat. My mom said I could watch a YouTube video, but I honestly don't feel comfortable installing the car seats, and I couldn't live with myself if the seats weren't properly installed and something happened. My mom thought I was being dramatic and just trying to get out of having the family see how messy my car was. I ended up driving my Civic, and my mom followed in her car, but she's still mad that I made us take 2 cars instead of taking the car seats out. Am I the idiot for refusing to take the car seats out of my car so my family can take 1 car to Christmas? Not the idiot. Car seat removal is a pain in the butt. If it was a situation where it was an emergency and you all had to go together because there was no other alternative, that's different. Driving 2 cars is way easier than removing and then replacing 4 car seats. Your family asked you to trade 20 minutes of body contorting effort plus probably 5 or 10 minutes of YouTubing since you have to learn each seat because someone doesn't want to drive. The kid's safety is way more important than your mom's desire to take your car. She was very entitled to assume she could use a car she didn't own. You should, however, learn about each car seat. It's very important not only for your job, but also if you ever have kids of your own to know how to do this. What if one of the kids spills and you must take the seats out to clean? Please ask for a demo from the parents and ask them to help you learn.